In this video, I'd like to make a web page that understands what your window resolution is. So that way, if you're using a wider resolution, 1280 or bigger, perhaps you show a 3-column layout. And if you are using a smaller resolution of 1024 or smaller, you're going to use a 2-column layout. So to start off, I'm just going to go to my editor, Notepad++, and I'm going to put together a pretty simple web page. And within the body of the page, I'm going to go ahead and create a series of divs that will contain the key elements of my page. There we go. So within the body of my page, I simply have a wrapper div, and I've got 4 divs in there. I've got a header div, which will go across the top. I've got a menu div, which is going to go down the left side. I've got a sidebar, which is going to go down the right side if it's a bigger resolution, 1280 or larger, and then I've got my main content area. So now that I've got these divs set up, I'm going to go ahead and save my page, and then I will go ahead and put in I'm going to start to create a CSS file. So let me take care of this. Save to the desktop. This will be rescheck.html. And for now, I'll go ahead and put in a link tag for my layout 1024. Alright, and then I'll create a CSS file. Okay, let me just review my CSS here. I've got a reset style where I've got margin and padding set to 0, and I did text align center, just not that I would normally do that in reset, but just for effect. Web page has a yellow background. My wrapper div is 900 pixels wide, has top and bottom 3 pixel margin, automatic left and right. That'll center my wrapper on the page. My header is 90 pixels tall, has a sky blue background. My menu div is 200 pixels wide, 500 pixels tall, mostly just for effect here. Background color blue, and it's floating to the left. My sidebar is red, 190 pixels wide, it's floating to the right. Height is 500 pixels. My main content area is also 500 pixels tall, has margin on the left and margin on the right equivalent to the widths of the menu and the sidebar, has yellow text and a black background color. Let me go ahead and save this. This is going to be layout 1024 CSS. My web page is, of course, already referring to that, so let me jump over to my browser. And there's my page as it stands. Now I'm currently at a 1024 resolution, and I don't want to be able to see the sidebar at a 1024 resolution. So what I'm going to do is jump back over to my CSS file, and for 1024 I want the sidebar to display none. I don't want a sidebar at 1024 resolutions. I also, since I'm taking that out, I won't need my margin right for my content to be 190 pixels. So let me go ahead and save that, make that change. Back at my browser, I'll simply refresh. This is how I want my web page to look at 1024. At 1280 or bigger, it's going to have the red sidebar over there. So now I'm going to go back here. Now that I've made a little change to this, let me click File, Save As, and I'm going to call this Layout 1280. So I have 2 CSS files. My 1024 I'm satisfied with. My 1280 I'm going to put that margin right back in there for content, and for my sidebar I'll get rid of the display none. So my 1280 resolution, sidebar shows, and my content has the appropriate margins left and right. For my 1024 resolution, no sidebar. Okay, so back to the HTML file, I'm going to do some JavaScript, and I'm going to start doing this over here in the head section. So I'll start off with a set of script tags. and I'm going to go ahead and declare a variable. My variable will be called res width, and it's going to be equal to the screen width. Now, after I've declared that variable, I'm going to go ahead and create an if statement. So if, now the thing that I'm testing for is if my res width is going to be less than, let's say, 1050. Okay. So if my resolution width is less than 1050, it's probably 1024 or maybe 800 for all we know. But if it's less than 1050, then I'm going to do a document write, and I want to write in fact, I'll just take my link tag right here, I'll cut that out, paste it in here, there we go. So if my resolution width is less than 1050, then I'm going to write in a link tag that's going to use my layout 1024 style sheet. Else, I'm going to do a document write, of my 1280 style sheet. So, if my resolution width is less than 1050, I want you to display a link tag using my 1024 CSS, otherwise use the 1280 CSS. And that's the end of the script. Now that I've got this information, I'm going to go down to the body of my page, and just so we have a little reference in here, this isn't necessary to the function, certainly, but here we go. So I've got a little script, so now it'll display a message at the top of my page. Let me go ahead and save this, jump back over to my browser, and let me do a refresh. Okay, it's telling me that my screen resolution is 1024, and of course I don't see my sidebar. Now for the real test, I've got to see it in 1280. Now on the monitor I have next to me that's not being recorded, I've got the Google Chrome browser maximized to my 1280 resolution. So let me go ahead and open the page over there. And it loads up fine. Let me just drag it over here, and I can just resize this so you'll be able to see it. So this is my Google Chrome for my 1280 browser. My screen resolution is 1280, and of course I'm getting my red sidebar.